Thank you for showing up. We plan to show out. CAPSXSTUDIOS, the Mature Life Podcast.
Hey, and welcome to the Mature Life. I'm Monica,
And I'm Eddie.
and we welcome you with open arms. Let's be real. Life gets complicated as we get older, and whether we're dealing with our health or our relationship or just redefining who we are, it's not easy. But the journey is always well worth it. In this podcast, we plan on having open, honest conversations and uh, getting down into the challenges and the joys of it all and just figuring out what really matters to us as we mature.
Yeah, in this podcast, we're going to explore the rich, nuanced, exciting phases that come with life after your younger years, after you've, raised your kids, gotten your career squared away, um, and as you're maturing, 40 plus, 50 plus, um, you know, there's a lot of things that you still, have to embrace in life. Each week we're going to dive into stories and talk about, you know, just different lessons, different inspirations that remind us that life is not over. It's just getting started. Uh, we want you to basically embrace new passions and navigating the big changes that are coming to your life instead of withdrawing and being sedentary. Um, we want you to enjoy this space that we have, the mature life. Um, and for those of you that know, life only gets richer. It doesn't get you know worse. It gets richer, but you have to be in the mindset to embrace that. Um, on this podcast, like we said, we're gonna explore the wisdom that you guys have, that we have. We're also gonna emphasize in the richness of life and tell you a little bit more about how Capsx Studios got started, what we're about, open and honest relationships, things of that nature. So we hope you guys come back, and we appreciate you checking out the Mature Life. Yeah. So about us, um, how it all began. It began in an ad in the Wichita Eagle newspaper, which was which may have been considered online dating at the time. I had an ad, and she got coerced into calling and leaving a message.
They didn't nobody coerce me. I was at a point in my life after um, redefining myself for 6 months and in 1 year. I decided that I didn't want to live my life alone, and so I was looking through the paper and I came across this ad, and they said, "Oh, the um, the ad writers can leave messages and you can hear them." And oh my God, when I heard his voice, I was like, that is my man.
Yeah, she still don't like me. But anyway, yeah, that's how it all got started. And uh,
Congratulations, well done.
yeah, so you know, she left a message. I called her back. I spent all day Sunday riding around with my friend, talking to her on the phone. And then we talked after I got home, and we talked and we talked and we talked, and then we finally decided to
Meet
meet at the infamous Applebee's, which is no longer, it's turned into another restaurant.
Brickyard or
where we
something.
are, the Brickyard, and this is in Wichita, Kansas. So, um,
We
yeah,
both set up outs.
yeah, I had my homie, had him on alert to give me a call. Um,
And I had a meeting to
shortly
go to.
after, like 30 minutes in.
Yeah, and I had a meeting. I said I need to go to a meeting. Now, mind you, we did that because it's not like online dating. There were no pictures, so were I was going by the voice and the information that was given, and um, then I gave information, and he must have been okay with that because he called me back. But just meeting someone out of the out of the blue, blind dates, you need to make sure that you're safe. So,
Nobody's doing blind dates no more.
I'm just saying, we made sure that we had outs. I told him, "Oh, I have a meeting to go to," and ended up sitting there. His friend called, and I decided that I didn't have a meeting to go to, and we stayed there and talked and talked. But I always tell him I knew he was going to be my husband. And people wonder, well, how do you know that? It was just a feeling. And I knew that if my husband, if that young man that I was talking to came and opened my door like a gentleman, I said, that's my husband. I don't know. It was just a feeling.
Yeah, um, you know, but that's what I've always been. I've always been a gentleman. I'm not into the slandering of women and all of that. If someone doesn't like me, is not feeling me, touche. I mean, that's what it is. Everybody in life is not going to, really be 100% into you. So you have to accept the losses. Like they say, you got to be a boss. You got to take a loss.
Right. And so as time went on, we talked and talked and talked. I think we talked more on the phone in the beginning, just like crazy. And we never, just like today, we never have had a lull in our conversation. We've always had ongoing conversations. I think we talk so much. We spend every day, all day together.
Yeah, if I work from home,
Uh,
so
yeah, and I'm a stay-home mom, and well, not anymore. I'm just a retired lady because all of our children are young adults, and they don't need us as much. But we have two children with autism, and so they'll forever be with us. And so um, I'm just an old retired lady. But anyway, um, I was so excited to meet him and really get to know him. He took his time, which I don't think people are doing these days. I think people are relationshiping instead of dating. Dating means that you date a lot of people. You still go out and because you're looking to make sure that you find that person.
black people ain't never dated. As soon as they meet somebody, we go together, or you can't talk to nobody else, and that's how things get started. You have to be you only can be in this box. You can't play with this toy. You can only play with one toy at a time.
Well,
And
back in the day, I don't think that was true. I think we
yeah,
dated
yeah,
because
yeah,
I dated
yeah,
and
because you are
Capricorn.
different. No, it ain't that. You just different. You
Yeah,
just
I'm
look at
different.
it
I am.
differently.
I am.
Um,
I think
yeah,
everybody should date. The dating process is allowing you to get to know that person and get to understand or see if that person is for you. A lot of people jump um, into relationships and they haven't even found out what that person's favorite color is or what that person uh, likes to do, or are they a homebody, or are they an extrovert that likes to be out and moving all the time? And that's where they say opposites attracts, but sometimes those opposites are horrible when you don't have even like a little bit in common.
Yeah. You know, my take on relationships has always been people always ask, what do you like? What are you looking for? And I've always said, I really don't know. It just depends on the person. Because depending on the person, I might have uh, some caveats about it. You know what I mean? They may, they may their personality or whatever may um end up being something that you're really interested over what they look like or how much money they got. And I always tell people this too, um, it's relationships are different when you're in your 20s and early 30s, or it was, you know, 30 something years ago, right? Relationships, because neither one of us had anything. So it wasn't like I had to have all this money and all of these things. We kind of just blended what we had together. So, I have several different sayings that I've learned over the years or I've thought of myself, and I always said the older you get, the harder it is going to be have a relationship with someone because you become sedentary in your ideals and your ideology. And so it's hard for you to break away from that. Um, Turn off this damn TV because I didn't make the video long enough to showcase our beautiful logo, CAPSXSTUDIOS, the mature life, baby. But anyway, relationships, people should date. They need to explore and see how you're going to behave, how you're going to react to different situations. What's your temperament?
Right.
Things of that nature. You know what I mean? Do you like your mama?
That's a big
Do you
one.
like your family? Um, Things of that nature. What kind of family do you have? Are you jumping into something where you're gonna be going to pick up their drunk sister every time because everyone calls you all the time to go pick up that sister? You know what I mean? So you're
Right.
gonna be having expenditures due to recklessness within the family. Things of that nature. There's a lot of little things with what you can put up with, what you don't want to put up with.
Right. And having the opportunity to say, as adults, we should have the opportunity to say, yes, I can take that, or yes, I can't, or no, I can't handle that, or I don't want to. And everybody just go their separate ways as adults. Anymore, I see that one party or the other flips out.
They all flipping out. I
And
don't know what's wrong with them.
I don't either.
That's why we have this mature life
So,
podcast because we want to talk to people that are a little bit older. Like I said, 40. I think you start to feel some things at 40. A lot of people are having kids, and their kids are graduating high school or going to college by age 38 to 40. So things change.
mhm,
What kind of relationship did you have with
the kids.
your husband or the baby daddy or whatever, you know, are you even are you even corresponding with one another in regards to the child and those type of things. So um
That's a big one because um, even having mom and dad in the house as the children age and move on and start their own lives, how are mom and dad? Because see, now you're evolving into totally different realm. You're not just mom and dad taking care of kids.
right, right.
Your husband and wife, your boyfriend, girlfriend, you're together. So you got to be able to say, yeah, I like this person. I can genuinely say, I like my husband.
Yeah, I like my
So
wife too. But I will say that I did have in my voice message a description I needed her to be height weight proportionate. I didn't say weight or anything like that. I just wanted someone height weight proportion. That was one of my biggest things. But
And
uh
he was honest. He told me, I'm just want you to know if you get fat, I'm leaving." Didn't you?
I don't I don't I don't remember none of that.
Yeah, he told me
I
that.
don't remember any of that. I
And then
probably
put a
said
baby
it.
on me.
We had to do a lot of things. Check it. So we get together. She has two kids. Everybody is like, "Oh, this woman, she got two kids. What you gonna do? Are you sure you ready for that kind of commitment?" You know. And I've been helping my grandma babysit kids, little kids, babies since I was young. My grandmother from Mississippi came and stayed with us for most of my life. So she's the older lady that everybody know. It was this Mississippi clique. Everybody that got babies, you know, they would have her babysit, and so I used to help babysit and whatnot. And you know, Marty Marr loved the kids, right? So I didn't have a problem with the kids, but the biggest thing with the kids is if her and I are on the same accordance with the kids, and taking care of the kids, and the discipline, the list. Oh damn, I can't even talk.
Discipline.
Discipline, airy. That's that Rosa kicking in, but you know, but that was never really a issue. So I mean, I technically moved in about what 45 days
Yeah.
after meeting her.
Oh, but we had to go through some though, because I at that point I had my tubes tied. I
Yeah,
wasn't having
that's the
any more
story I was trying to
children,
get to. Yeah.
and that was before we
She
moved
was
in
young.
though.
She got her tubes tied at like
I got them at 20 what, after I had Nicole, so probably 21, 22.
I was 18, so you was 22.
So uh you know, we went through some stuff, but I had to own that I couldn't give him any children, and he wanted children, and I was like, oh my God, I can't give you any children, so you need to go on, because I was open, upfront about what I wanted and needed in my life at that time. I
Yeah.
wanted to be married within or engaged within 6 months, because I don't think that adults have to wait 10 and 15 years before you decide that you're committed to somebody. And if that wasn't something he wanted, I was okay with that. He had to
Yeah, because I
just
was
go.
out in them streets, baby.
And so I told him, I said,
Literally.
you need to go. Because I was falling for him, but I didn't want to hold him back from having children, because I didn't think that there was any way that I could get my tubes redone or whatever. And
Yeah.
so he Mr. Computer Man, evidently he really
Excuse me.
wanted to be with me, and he was falling for me too, because he came back with all the information on how we're going to get a reosmosis and where to go and what doctor and how much it cost, and we did that
Yeah.
together.
Yeah. We drove to Jackson, Tennessee
Yep.
about 3 days after they had a tornado.
Right.
So we went down to Jackson. We stopped in Memphis. I got a heavy presence of family in Memphis, in Mississippi. So we stopped there, and then the next day we went. We got a hotel. Then the next day we drove to Jackson, Tennessee. Had the procedure, and then she came. We came back, and then we went to. We went down into Clarksdale, Mississippi, where we have where my family is, and had a cousin Pat that we stayed over there, and she rested, and we spent a few days, and then we came back to Wichita, Kansas, and waited the necessary time, and then
I was pregnant right away. I was a fertile myrtle, or
yeah,
he was just booming. But
yeah, that's what I
I was
do.
pregnant right away, and that was our son that Thailand, that we lost. Um,
Yeah.
but then that was hard.
Experiences.
Yeah, we've gone through some stuff, but anyway, let's go back a little bit. Um, After he came back with all the information, and then we decided that, well, what are I wanted him to meet the kids and my two oldest kids, and I wanted to feel that out because I wanted to make sure that they were okay and he was okay with them. But they fell in love with him. They were just, it was just like I knew that it was okay when my kids came in, and after a few days they wanted to call him dad. They called their daddy, their father, but they called him dad, and that was um, that was a seal for me. And
Yeah.
then he did, within 6 months we were engaged, or he proposed,
We
and,
was
and
engaged,
I
right?
said yes,
Yep. She said yes,
and
and
it was so cute.
then that was on Valentine's Day, 1998.
Yeah, yeah, 1998, and he came in and surprised me. But I was at work, and he just kept calling me and kept calling and asking, "What did you say your mom's name was? What did you say your daddy's name was?" I didn't know that he was down filling out the marriage license, and so when he came to propose, he didn't just come with a ring. He came with the marriage license already filled out and a ring. So yeah,
Yep, yep, yep. So we were married in roughly, you met in um, late July, I think July 25th,
hmm,
and we were married in March 31st. So
right.
so that was roughly what, 9 months or 8 months.
You want me to count my
Use your
fingers?
fingers to count them out.
July, August, September, October, November, December, January,
Yep, 9 months. So yeah. So from there
we had two weddings.
yeah,
Hadn't we were I don't know what we were doing, but I wanted to have a wedding,
yeah,
and
we got married at the courthouse.
we wanted to,
$35.
but I wanted him to be my husband, to be in staying in the house, and so we went. Not I know you, but that is my head. I grew up in a religious stuff,
Kachi.
so yeah. So, but anyway, he we went and we bought watches, Foster watches. What is Foster?
Fossil, yeah, fossil watches.
Fossil watches, and had them engraved, and got married that way. And they thought that was unique. The judge that married us, because we exchanged watches instead of rings, and then we told our family. We kept slipping up and almost telling them, and then we finally told them we were trying to get both families together at one time, and we did that on Easter, and told them that we had gotten married. But my kids, we took them out after we got married. They were so excited.
Yeah, so we've had like I said, I think I mentioned earlier, we have the next set of kids. We got pregnant, and we had our oldest that we have here between us, and then we had another set, and they were autistic. They were preemies, and so that was a rough period. That they were only like what 14 ounces.
They were 1 pound 3 ounces, and
Yeah,
they were born at 23 weeks.
yeah, 23 weeks.
Yeah.
And so that's been a struggle in keeping you know like I said, she's a master degree teacher. You have a master's in curriculum, right?
Yeah.
And so we it's been hard because um her having to basically or we decided be best for her to stay home and take care of them, and that's what we did. made that decision, and then we made the decision to homeschool them as well.
Yeah.
Because Florida, I'm not saying the schools are bad, but it's a lot different than
Yeah.
what we are used to coming
I
from.
think if we would have stayed in Wichita, my kids would have stayed in school. I wouldn't have homeschooled them because as a teacher in that district, I knew that we were prepared. They prepared us for the influx of students who would be diagnosed with autism. They were looking at the statistics and what was coming up, and so they were proactive, and we were able to be trained, not knowing that I was going to have my children
Yeah,
that with
yeah, it was just a
autism.
smaller environment as
Yeah,
well. I mean,
yeah,
Wichita is not that big of an environment. It's a more, um, I think the city and the state is more
family
well
oriented.
balanced, you know, racially, um, just all around, just a smaller environment that is, I think, was a lot. It's a lot different. I mean, we're in the South, right? Don't get it twisted. It's Florida, but it's still the South, and it's a whole different ideology, mentality, and even it's different than Mississippi. I mean, it's the South is the South, but different states have different type of personalities.
Right.
Like Florida is
This is a
just
transit state.
it's a transit state. I mean,
Yeah,
still, and when we're traveling back and forth through Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, we see people, especially black people, they speak to you
yeah.
like, that's that old school mature um
Southern.
southern, hospitality. They just say hi, good morning, things of that nature.
Right.
In Florida, it's a little different. I mean, you'll have people that are, they we share the same skin color, but they really don't, you know, f with us, so to speak, or they just kind of reserved or whatever it is. You know what I mean? Even in our own neighborhood. So that's the weird thing, nuance about it. But I think overall the schools are better, they're more balanced, and so we just when the teacher is calling you to ask for help when they're supposed to be specialized in
Special
specialized
needs
in
or
special needs, and they're
yeah.
calling you crying on the phone,
Right.
she wasn't the right one. So
Yeah. And I was grateful that I didn't have to be at work and be called
right,
every single day um, because he looked different or
right.
you know.
So
So it was a great thing for us to bring them
yeah,
home and teach them. And they are so far advanced that than what I feel that they would have gotten in school because we've taught them
yeah,
life skills.
yeah,
Um, and then they're also computer literate. They are just
yeah. The
crazy good with computers and
technology and
yeah,
whatnot,
yeah,
like and the thing is that they are I mean, being autistic, they're not very social.
yeah.
That's where they have some hangups at, and that's a lot of people, you know, um,
That's me. I'm an introvert.
introvert, and me, I'm an extrovert, I guess. I
Yep.
mean, I like being out, but a lot of times I stay at home because I'm always working on something. You know what I mean? Like putting together this lab to in our loft to do this podcast stuff, and so I'm always working on things, and people are always asking me, are you working? I'm like, I'm always working. That's what I do. Um,
Yeah.
so uh, yeah, so that's where we are, as far as children. So we have children from being 40 years old all the way down to getting ready to turn 21. Twins are 22. Um, the oldest one here, he'll be 25 in June, and so of course, the experiences. Like I have one that's out there. I haven't spoken to him since he was 6 years old, but you know how that goes. You know what I mean?
That's that'll be a conversation.
Yeah, that's gonna be
And
a conversation that a lot of men go through. What
yeah.
we experience.
And I want to also touch on being an introvert and having anxiety and and dealing with that and how he handles that because he's an extrovert. He's goey. So, you know, that'll be for another cast or pod.
Yeah. For this
I know we were all over the place, but we we once we got married and um, settled in, we were uh, pretty good. We've gone pretty
I
good.
mean, life is was about living, right? I'm kind of, you know, I'm undiagnosed ADHD, um, and some those are some of the things too that we our generation they didn't talk about, they didn't discuss. So those are the type of things that came up. I always remember like certain classes I would go to sleep in, some I would be energetic in. Um, you know, I had a lot of issues with that, but and then meetings. Even to this day, meetings. If I'm not like delivering information or whatever, I'm like checking out, right? Um, so those types of things that are discovered in later in life. Those are all the things that we're talking about that we want to discuss and have people that maybe someone has been diagnosed with anxiety disorder, and it's really hard for me because a lot of times I would want her to go out with me and do things, go to certain party sets or whatever, and she wouldn't want to go, and I just thought she didn't want to go, not that she was really having an issue with anxiety, because I can't fully understand anxiety. It just was like I don't get nervous, I don't get scared, I don't have any emotions with that, so it's hard for me to grasp that type of mindset or what's really going on with someone when they're going through that. So yeah, so um what else you want to tell them about? We are like we said earlier, we're in an open and honest relationship. We believe in that. We believe in non-ownership. I don't own her, she doesn't own me. Her body, her choice. We just made a pact together that we gon' f with each other
And be respectful of each
and
other.
be respectful. Um, you know, we're in what we call a open relationship, but it's open to being honest. It's open to being able to talk about certain scenarios. Um, desires, wants, dreams, whatever, right?
Right.
So non-judgmental. Um, all of that. That's what our podcast is really going to be talking about. I've worked in some environments, some, LS environments. I've, you know, I've kind of ventured in that since high school, really. So that was something. Even when she first met me, I had a lot of adult content back then. Um, and she always was like, "Why do you watch that?" You know what I mean? And I've always been that person, right? I'm highly sexual as far as that goes. Like just because I think it's beautiful. The body is beautiful. People are beautiful. or can be, and that women are beautiful. I mean, I don't. That's why I try to be respectful, of all women. I'm not gonna call them bees and hoes and all of that kind of stuff, because it's not necessary. Um, I can accept, I could accept it, I can accept denial or whatever. It doesn't make me feel any kind of way. So I'm very um, different. I'm on some different stuff, and everybody's not gonna f with that, and that's okay. You know what I mean? I got these. I like these butterfly pants I got on. And I found them. I was like, them kind of tight, right? But I'll tell you a story. We went on a cruise, right? I wore these pants, right? I wore these pants, and a lot of I got a lot of reactions because that's what I like to do too. I like to see how people are gonna respond. I'm like the I'm like the black awake Freddy Krueger. I like to see how people are gonna move, how see if I can bring out their inhibitions or their prejudices, their judgmental attitudes and things of that nature. So on this ship, I got all the white people, white women especially. They were like, "Oh, those pants are awesome, man." And hey, you're what you say? You're man, and you have the strength or something like that to wear them. I was like, I don't have no problem with that. You know what I mean? I don't need acceptance or approval from anybody. I don't need that from anybody. So yeah, but of course, my people, they was like looking like they don't know what to think, right? They like, is he on the fence? What's going on with him or whatever? You know what I'm saying? I think it's hilarious, but those are the types of experiences and avenues that I like to partake in, just to see, just to f with people, because people are so caught up in certain ideologies and mentalities they can't get away from themselves, right?
So deeply judgmental that they that they can't see past where they're at.
Yeah. So
We hope that you guys can ride along with us and feel um, free to comment and leave questions that we can ponder and come back onto another cast and
most
answer.
definitely.
So feel
Y-
like this is a safe place to be to ask any questions, any of them that we can answer. We will. If we have to go and look it up, we'll figure that out. I'm a book person, so I have to have stuff where I can see it. So I'll look it up if I don't know the answer.
Yeah, but we just want people to feel safe, and we want to explore. We want to hear what people have to say. What have they gone through? Relationship wise, health wise, mentality. What are some of your hang ups? Why are you hung up?
And this isn't just for married people. This is for everybody, for
Yeah.
singles, for um, them, they, her,
Yeah, anybody
she,
that's gone through.
whoever.
Yeah, anybody
We're
that's gone through something in life, dealing with
absolutely,
life as an older person, you know what I mean?
absolutely.
I want to discuss some of the things about. I mean, there's a lot of stuff, as I've gotten older, some of my older cousins and some of my cousins that are younger than myself rather, my biggest thing is for men because I know, I worked a lot of service jobs. Like I worked in prison, I worked in the supermax, I worked in work release, I worked in job service, I worked for unemployment insurance, I worked for children and family services. I was a para in middle school for a while, so I've worked in a lot of different avenues, and and one thing I know about men, Whether you're 82 year olds like my dad, or whether you're 15 years old, that we are not necessarily that strong and confident. It's all a show, it's a mask. A lot of us are insecure about things. A lot of us don't feel good about ourselves, just like women may feel that way, but we always linger and focus on women. But there's a lot of men that are not that confident, that have different issues, and they're struggling with identity, things of that nature. They're struggling with their penis size, all these made up things that are supposed to be important. They're not feeling good about their money and how much money. That's what's so emphasized today. Oh, get your bag, get your bag, get your money. And then we have a lot of unrealistic expectations, which cause people to be in a whole different mindset. Um,
And all those things cause um, people to, sorry, cause people to deflect, to, to um, that's why it's always turned around on the other person, on the women, because they're feeling this way, a certain way, and then they turn that so that they can feel good about who they are. And some women do the same thing. I'm not
yeah,
taking
yeah.
any favorites, because
No, but I
we
deal
know.
with a lot of men because, you know, I deal with a lot of men issues, and I look at them and I pay attention, I side eye, and I watch, because I know I've worked in the deepest of the deepest of the deep with men and their mentality. And that's prison. You have nothing left in prison other than yourself, and trying to put yourself in a better situation. So, you know, I know the in depth, some of the in depth mindsets of where we exist. You know, um, it's deep, and that's for another conversation. But I think we're gonna end this um, conversation. We don't want to take up too much of your time. Um, we're gonna at least look to have a show at least once a week. I might jump in and throw in some extra tidbits here and there. Um, some of you guys may know. We are on a uh, different platforms as far as social media. Reach out to us there. This is more of a vanilla space, so we just want everybody to be very comfortable and
Respectful.
respectful, and just be able to share their stories. What is it called in church? Your testimonies
Yes.
of life, and what it feels like for you to be a mature person that's gone through um, this life and experiencing, um, just having different experiences. So we want to thank you for, watching
Thank you. Thank
uh,
you.
the Mature Life podcast by CAPSX Studios. Um, we feel privileged if you watch. If you watch, please like and share. Is that what they say?
Like, share, and
Subscribe.
turn and
Yeah.
subscribe, and
Yeah.
turn on that notification button for the
Yeah.
next podcast
Yeah.
of Caps X Studios,
Do all of
the
that.
Mature Life. And if this isn't your cup of tea, turn your friends on to it, the ones that you think this is their cup of tea.
Yeah. Yeah. Please do. So we're going to let you guys go, and peace out. And we'll check you guys out next time.